permit me to say to you that I'm going to be the person chairing today's session. And I want to start off by saying thank you for all being here and on time. My sincere apologies that we started a little late, and I do respect and value the fact that many of you made the effort to be here and on time. We started a new security arrangement, and I know that slowed down a couple of persons from getting in on time. And the traffic sometimes with our professors coming from Diamond could also be a little challenging. So I want to start off by thanking you for being here, and I'm looking forward to having an exciting day. I want to start off by introducing to you our head table persons who are instrumental and critical to today's exercise. And that doesn't mean that you're not instrumental and critical, but just so that you know who's at the head table, I want to start off by introducing to you first Professor Martha Myers from the School of Education, Florida International University. And as her bio is on your program, you can read more, and then you're going to hear from her further. And then to also introduce to you Professor Michael Scott, DVC Academic Engagement, under who the Center of Excellence for Teaching and Learning falls. And Professor Scott and our team, I need to remember that even though I'm Burbician, I am now instrumental in the office of Professor Scott. So Professor Scott heads our team, and I really want to use this opportunity at the beginning to say thank you to Team DVC Scott and all the folks sitting at the back, Sandra and Padmini and Sharon and Odwin and whoever else I forgot. Just know it's one love. Sitting next to Professor Scott is our Honorable Minister, Dr. Nicolette Henry, and that went down gracefully. Just like Minister Henry is a graceful lady, you always see her not only nicely put together, but she is extremely supportive of the university and all of our initiatives. So I use this opportunity to welcome her and to say to her at this point that we are now today launching the Center of Excellence for Teaching and Learning, Minister, and we will need some additional financial support because it's new, and whilst we would have gotten increases in the budget over the years, with this center that is focusing strictly on staff and professional development, we will need additional resources. We've had some, from the onset, some partnerships with UNESCO and with the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, but I know that there's a little bit more that you can look to in that miscellaneous, right? Or extra resources. And kindly remember that we need a photocopier, some machine laptops, and all the other essential equipment so the staff can really maximize teaching and learning and bring out the kind of product that Guyana needs today. Yes? So I thank you in anticipation for your good deed. May I introduce to you too, I'm trying to find the correct phrase to describe our Vice Chancellor, who is a very inspirational leader and has a vision for things. He has a vision, and what he does is allows us to execute that vision. And the vision for the Center of Teaching and Learning was born out of wanting to do better. We have been doing good. Not that we have not been doing good, we have been doing good. But you know, you always want to raise the bar. And in establishing the Center of Excellence for Teaching and Learning, B.C. Griffith, and when we spoke and we were crafting the concept and the proposal to take through all the processes that UG has, he wanted us to make sure that this center focuses on our colleagues, on our staff, so each staff gets better with time. I know some of you have been teaching for a little while, and some persons are wondering, but why? You know, but we have some colleagues here who are going to show you how we can do things differently, how you can ramp it up, make it better. And that's what today and our continuing sessions in teaching and learning is going to do. We will make sure that our students are excited to come to classes. And you will reduce the burden on you because our students will sometimes be driving teaching and learning. So we want you and our students to get excited, and BC initiated this initiative, and I am truly appreciative to be a part of the team working on this. So BC Griffith, I use this opportunity to also say thank you. Now when I lower my voice, that is the time when you clap. Okay, so I now move to Professor Percy Hinson. Professor Hinson has an extensive bio that you're going to read about. But just talking with Professor Hinson between yesterday and today, and this and last night, yesterday and today, yesterday and last night. But I just want to say that Professor got you excited. He's the director for, I don't want to he's the director of the African and African Diaspora Studies Program. But he's doing so much in terms of education and in terms of entrepreneurship and in terms of collaboration and all the different things that excites you and will excite you as faculty. I just listened to him yesterday and last evening, during the day at lunch and last evening, got really excited about the possibilities that are there for us as faculty. Faculty of Technology, I saw the young guys there and I said, you look like you come from engineering technology. They just got the looks, you know? That looks with assertiveness, we own this space and that kind of thing. But after this, we're going to make sure that there are collaborations, you know. We want to get our center excited. You must be excited about coming to work and teach. We don't have all the resources. That's why we're asking Minister for more. And we know that you use your own resources. And teachers do that all the time. And you counsel and you do all kinds of stuff. But we want you to get back. This is going to make sure that you get passionate again about it. And this is why we are launching this today, to reignite you and for you to get excited. I see my Barbician crew here and I really am appreciative of all your support. I can't say thank you to you enough, but this is not the thank you session. This is the introductions. So I am pleased to introduce the head table to you. And at this point, I'm going to welcome the Vice Chancellor, who's going to welcome you to this occasion. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our director, Paul. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Now we're ready to go. Energy, vibrancy. Honorable Minister, Professor Scott, Deputy Vice Chancellor, President of the Dr. Barbara Reynolds, our University Registrar, colleagues from UG and visitors and guests to our university, welcome to this very important milestone as we pursue the journey of Renaissance Road. Ms. Henry talked about the minister having the opportunity to give resources. But I also want to ask the minister to reach into her handbag and take that $1,000 bill that she has and put it on the table. And I'm going to invite someone who can tell us the reason why we are at the university. What is our primary purpose for being here? And if I get the right answer, I'll invite you to meet the minister later on to get that $1,000. So, why do we have a university of Ghana? If there is one word that you could identify, suggest, what would that one word be? Growth. Good word, but not the right word. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7, 3, 2, 1. Huh? Knowledge, good word, but not the right word. Excellence, good word, but not the right word. We're all here because of students. We're all here because of students. And we have an obligation not only to be good, but to pursue excellence. There's a wonderful book written by Thomas Friedman called The World is Flat. And he makes reference to Will Rogers, a humorist, writer. Will Rogers once said, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. We at the university have been on the right track with some things, but we don't have the luxury of just sitting there. We've got to find the opportunity of enhancing our ability to serve the students. And the primary constituency to serve the students is the faculty, the lecturers, the technicians in the library. And so as I return to Ghana 2 years, 8 months tomorrow, in looking at how we can not just sit there, I articulated a Renaissance plan for the university. A Renaissance plan that has 4 components. Capital investment. How do we enable ourselves to do better with our human capital, with our finances, with our physical capital, with our brand capital? The second important pillar of the Renaissance plan is academic enhancement. How can we improve the deliverables? How can we expand our offering of degree programs? How can we aid the professional development of our academic and supporting academic staff? And some of you have this score sheet, and you see the other 2 pillars. And so, when I got to Diana, and had the opportunity of joining our university, of which I'm a proud product, I thought that one of the ways in which we need to enable our students to do better is to enable our lecturers or faculty to do better. And therefore, in August of 2016, I crafted and subsequently was approved a reorganization plan so that we could not just sit there. Part of that reorganization plan that was approved by the FNGPC, Finance and General Purposes Committee, was a Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. I went back to that memo of August 2016 just to remind myself. But so many things we have begun to do on the Project Renaissance could not be done just by UG resources, government of Ghana resources. And so we've been building partnerships with academic institutions within and beyond Guyana, with individual Guyanese and non-Guyanese who are committed to helping us move in that direction, with diplomatic international organizations enabling us to move along the Renaissance journey. While we may be good, we don't have the luxury of just sitting there. And I'm delighted that part of the partnering, one of the entities, some of the individuals who've been on this journey with us are here today. And they're here not only because they're committed to education, they're here partly because they want to support us. Some people sometimes, in the recent news, you may see people claiming we don't have money, we're doing all these things. Well, they're partly right. Because the people from FIU who came, they came on their own funding. The people who came from FIU, we're not funding their hotels. We're finding a way to do more, to not just sit there, even if we don't have all the resources to do it. And so I want to pause at this point and really welcome and thank and introduce a person who was not part of this program, but is an important part of the university that we are partnering with. A university that I had the pleasure of serving for 12 years in Florida, 5 of those being dean of a college, 3 of those years being budget dean of arts and sciences. And this person who I'm going to introduce and invite him to spend a minute or so sharing some thoughts is Guyanese. This person is Vice President for Engagement at Florida International University, a university when I joined in 1994, we had about 40,000 students. Now they have 58,000 students. The 8th largest university in the United States, very powerful research enterprise. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join me in just welcoming Mr. Saif Bishop.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start off by giving a big round of thanks to Vice Chancellor Griffith, Madam Minister, respected scholars, my colleague, Dr. Meyer from FIU. I want to correct Vice Chancellor Griffith on one thing. I am Guyanese, but I'm also Rhodesian. So I know that. That's why, I know how things work. So that's very, very important, so I just want to share, I had the absolute joy this morning of sitting and speaking with one of your colleagues, Professor Stevens in nursing, and hearing about her journey. And it's really the journey of each and every one of you as educators. And as somebody who was born in Guyana, who has several nieces and my sisters who live in this country, members of my family that are products of this extraordinary institution that's the University of Guyana, I want to start off by thanking each and every one of you that's an educator, that's pouring your passion, your talent, your energy into making dreams possible for families. My father was born on Albion Estate and was able to transcend multi-generational poverty to become a member of the Guyana Defense Force, to be able to go to military school in England, and to unlock a world of opportunities for my sisters and myself. That's what each and every one of you is doing. And I'm a member of the Academy, but I'm not a scholar. When you're a lawyer in the Academy, most people look at you like you're somebody from the cast of the TV show Suits. They don't really view you as a scholar. But I will quote a very famous Asian philosopher by the name of Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid, who once said, "There is no such thing as a bad student, only bad teacher. Teacher says, student do." And the truth of the matter is, today's symposium is about that exactly. It's about the University of Guyana and this country resourcing and empowering a new generation of educators, bringing to bear best practices in the world of pedagogy. And as Vice Chancellor Griffith said, the reason of our existence, the raison d'etre of why we are as educators is students. And so we're so excited as FIU to be partnered here today. My boss, the president of FIU, Dr. Rosenberg, is somebody that believes deeply in the power of collaboration and the power of the life of the mind. So we're so grateful to play a small part. I was here in Guyana on a personal matter, and I felt very much welcomed by Vice Chancellor Griffith when I told him that I wanted to come out here and I wanted to be a part of this convening, because education, we know that the greatest resource that Guyana has is not 50 miles off our coastal waters. The greatest resource we have is the gray matter that lies between the ears of the beautiful young men and women that call this country home. So thank you so much. And I feel honored to be here.
You'll hear later on from other FIU colleagues, but I want to thank them in advance, restating what Director Henry said earlier. You will hear the opportunity for more commendation and kudos to other partners that are helping us. But I want to thank Professor Scott for taking on another portfolio responsibility. You know, back in the 80s, when I taught at Hunter College in New York, I had a student who wrote me a letter, which I still have. Why doesn't the day have 28 hours rather than 24? Because there's so much to be done. I suspect Professor Scott has been asking that question. The Vice Chancellor is giving me all these things to do. Is there more time for us to do it? So I want to have you join me in thanking Professor Scott and thanking Director Henry. I sent Paulette an email a couple of months ago and I said, well, I've got something I want to recommend that you consider doing. And I'm delighted that I didn't have to twist a big toe or a pinky toe. She readily accepted to be part of this journey in helping us to get to the next level. Even if we're on the right track, we will get run over if we just sit there. I ask that when we constructively begin the work of this center, we not only enable our staff, academic staff, and support staff who are allied in that enterprise to know how to do better, but we identify the exemplars of excellence and recognize them. So we find a way within this very calendar year to have an opportunity as part of the motivation and incentivizing of doing more and doing better, pursuing excellence. We're going to find a way to recognize and reward people who are models of good teaching, models of good learning, models of making the connectivity between faculty and staff a powerful one. During the time when I was provost in New York and in Virginia, I gave to each of the faculty members in those universities something that I plan to have us buy for UG staff. It's a wonderful little book called What the Best College Teachers Do. It's a book about teaching and excellence in teaching. And I want to end by sharing with you just a few lines which I'm hoping can resonate with all of us, because serving the primary constituency that we're here to serve, the students, requires continuous improvement, requires reflection. Now, Ken Bain is the author. This book is in 7 different languages, used around. I brought him to New York when I was provost there, and I brought him to Virginia when I was provost there. This is what Ken Bain says on page 49 of this book. Teaching is engaging students, engineering an environment in which they learn. Equally important, they thought, they being the people who we interviewed, they thought of the creation of a successful learning environment as an important and serious intellectual or artistic act. Perhaps even a kind of scholarship that requires attention of the best minds in the academy. Listen to the following few sentences to go with this. For our subjects, the people who we interviewed, that scholarship centered around 4 fundamental inquiries. What should my students be able to do intellectually? All we just need to be able to ponder that. How can I best help them and encourage them to develop those abilities and habits of their heart and mind? Not just mind, heart, values. Number 3. How can my students and I best understand the nature, the quality, and the progress of their learning? And finally, how can I evaluate my efforts to foster that learning? What we shall be doing with this center is embracing the propositions by being, if we are important learners and teachers of learning, not comfortable with just sitting there because we get alone. And so I want to commend to all of us who are part of this journey, not to see it as an imposition. I want to encourage all of us, no matter how long you've been teaching, we can always learn something new. And in many respects, this enterprise is also the university's way of professionally developing our lecturers, our academic staff. There will be other programs that will be the other components of our university. So this is for us. It's not an imposition. And I'd like to encourage all of us to take that spirit in which we are going to be making the opportunity to, for the main constituency of our university or students, how can we, even if we're on the right track, not just sit there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. So your presence here today indicates that we're not going to just sit there. We're going to get better. You know, support you here. Thank you. At this point, I welcome the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Nicolette Henry, to bring special remarks and officially launch the center. Thank you.
I assure you have taken with me distinguished faculty and staff at the University of Guyana. It gives me great pleasure to join in the launch ceremony of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning at the University of Guyana. This university has over the years been evolving into a more competitive and respected tertiary institution in the region, and is certainly responsible for a lot that is required for this country's human resource development. I believe that this achievement is in no small part due to the emphasis that the university places on providing a dynamic, highly student-centered learning environment in which students learning is pursued as a primary goal, and excellence in teaching is recognized and rewarded. This emphasis is well positioned as it is with the institutions of higher learning as our country seeks to develop a globally competitive workforce. Permit me to reiterate that this institution would have come a long way since my days here on campus. And on that note, I wish to thank each and every one of you for the great work you do every day in refining the human resource of this country. On the eve of a petroleum-supported economy, there is an unprecedented demand for and a great diversification in higher education, as well as an increased awareness of its vital importance for socio-cultural and economic development. This is important for building the future for which a younger generation will need to be equipped with new skills, knowledge, and ideas. It involves a variety of studies, training for research at post-secondary level, provided by universities or other educational institutions and establishments that are approved as institutions of higher learning by competent authorities. This is also an opportune time, I believe, for us here in Guyana to shift gears to a process of brain gain rather than the negative effects of brain drain. In seeking ways and means to enhance the social function of higher education, the Ministry of Education and by extension the Government of Guyana resolved to collaborate with all possible partners with regards to strengthening the inter-university and outer-university cooperation. It must also be noted that this is a period of increased socio-economic stratification and greater difference in educational opportunities. Without higher education and research institutions providing a critical mass of skilled and educated people, Guyana cannot ensure genuine, endogenous, and sustainable development, which is imperative to reduce the gap separating Guyana from the industrial developed countries. Sharing knowledge, international cooperation, and new technologies is a pathway to reducing this gap. Our education system must evolve to provide a platform for a permanent exchange of ideas, of exchanging higher education and framework for joint action. We must keep up with this emphasis on lifelong learning and build our systems to help our students keep their knowledge current. This will ensure that they continually remain relevant in the new economy and are able to take advantage of new market opportunities. To help achieve these goals, the government has already undertaken massive rebuilding of the education sector. And this morning, I'm encouraged to provide more resources to the University of Guyana in this regard. And this is mainly because higher education has given ample proof of its viability over the centuries and its ability to change and induce change and progress in society. Owing to the scope and pace of change, our society is becoming knowledge-based, so that higher education, learning, and research now acts as an essential component of socioeconomic and environmentally sustainable development of individuals, communities, and our nation as a whole. Higher education, as provided by this university, is confronted, therefore, with a formidable task and must proceed to effect fundamental changes, much more than it has ever been required to undertake, so that Guyana, which is currently undergoing a profound paradigm shift in focus and development, can transcend from mere economic considerations and the deeper dimensions of morality and social cohesion. Of course, all of this begins with the foundation and pre-university stage, but the ultimate goal is to strengthen basic education through the improvement of best practices in teaching and higher education, and to increase exposure to evidence-based strategies and technologies that will enrich the teaching and learning environment, and emphasizing the use of student learning to improve classroom experiences. On this note, let me congratulate the University of Guyana on the successful launching of the Center of Excellence in Training and Learning. On behalf of the government and by extension the people of Guyana, I wish to officially launch this institutional program, and I wish the University of Guyana every success in its effort. I thank you, therefore, for being with me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And I trust that we all were paying attention to what she said, because within what she said was the resolve to collaborate, which they have been doing, and implied in that is resources for further collaboration, because she also indicated that we face a formidable task, right? And if you're facing a formidable task, you need formidable financial resources. So I thank you once again, Honorable Minister, for being here, for launching this program, and for making your financial commitment. We applaud you, not a round of applause for At this juncture of our program, we are going to install the advisory board. Now, the board members, I'm going to kindly ask you to come. Dr. Jacqueline Murray, Mr. Leonard Singh, our PRO, is Ms. Rowe here? Yes. The principal for CBC. Thank you for coming forward. Yes, please come. We're asking everyone to come, and the Vice Chancellor is going to explain to you a little bit about what is expected of the advisory board. Mr. Captain, is he here? Mr. Kevin Bovell, Mr. Malam Patti, Paulette from the library. Am I missing? I think I'm missing someone else. The Ministry of Education official. This manual. So I hand this over to DC.
Ladies and gentlemen, in our enterprise at the university and college level, part of the value of improving is tapping the collective wisdom of the constituencies that we serve. And so in pursuing this setup, we thought we would have an advisory board that we could call on to help us not just sit there. Let me therefore share with you what we're asking, what we're inviting members of the advisory board that will grow over time what we're inviting them to do. We're giving each of them a certificate of appointment that says, this certificate of appointment outlines the key roles and responsibilities of appointees. Appointees shall contribute voluntarily of their expertise to CoETaL and monitor the effectiveness of the programs developed from the advisor's perspective based on current regional, national, and global realities. They shall facilitate opportunities for faculties and school and their students to enhance the teaching and learning environment through the use of innovative instructional approaches that will lead to teaching excellence and student success. They shall facilitate the timely dissemination of information to the various stakeholders of the teaching and learning environments. They shall support the Center in securing resources to ensure both the continuing education and other professional development activities of faculty members locally and internationally. They shall engage in initiatives that will ensure the sustained viability of the center. We're not interested in creating a center just for a year. The work of professional development has to be sustained. Finally, they shall ensure that CoETaL advocates the values of integrity, of excellence, transparency, inclusion, and efficiency in the execution of its program delivery. I want to thank all the members of the board who have accepted the invitation to be part of this inaugural board and look forward to their enabling us to, even if we are on the right track, we don't just sit there. Yes, you can give the Vice Chancellor a round of applause. Come on. Thank you for your service to the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning.
Ms. Maureen Manuel.
Ms. Maureen Manuel. Verbisha, thank you.
And Speciality Adult Education.
Adult Education Specialist.
Dr. Jacqueline Murray.
Dr. Murray.
Who you migrated to Georgetown.
Thank you, Dr. Murray.
Ms. Paulette Paul.
Yeah, Verbisha. The registrar indicated that we will have Ms.
bonus was named Hewlett Park, but we didn't have the interchange.
All right.
Right? But Hewlett is outside, because I think registrar, as the deputy registrar, and we have Miss Donnell from the library. So everyone here has this row. So I'm not going to tell you that we made a mistake. We didn't. Right?
Can I invite minister professors to join us for a group picture? As well as professor, minister, professor. We have the small officer.
Excuse me.
Minister will have left us, but we are moving to a very important element of our program this morning. And that element is a keynote address that is going to be delivered by Professor Hinson. And as I would have shared with you briefly, Professor Hinson who comes from Guyana, who's an alumni of this university, brings to us years of experience working in education, in the sector, teaching and learning sector, fostering collaborations, and he has the kind of knowledge that we as faculty need to grow out. So it was with this in mind that Professor was invited to be the keynote speaker for this morning. I mentioned to you too, he has a range of knowledge working not only in the United States, but in Africa and with UE and other spaces. We are hoping to benefit from his expertise. So without further ado, I invite Professor Percy Hinson to speak to us.
I am most pleased to be here. Our beautiful Chinese people. The head table has been acknowledged, and I'd like to acknowledge you as lecturers and probably staff of the University of Guyana. You were the persons who produced me, and I'd like to thank you for what you're doing, because what you're doing is very, very important. 50 years ago, I enrolled as a student here at the University of Guyana. As soon as I came out of the womb, my mother enrolled me. It was the first year of this campus. First year. I was the first batch of students who came to this campus. And that was in 1969. The University of Guyana, however, was started 6 years before that. And from the time of its inception, it began to produce exceptional scholars who have gone on to do phenomenal things as head of their various professions throughout the world, mostly in the United States. And I'm sure you're aware of that. And the reason why was not because of material. You know, the university started at Queen's College. As a night school. The Queen's College persons used to go in the day, and then the University of Guyana would go at night. We didn't have a lot of things. We didn't have buildings and grounds, we didn't have material, we didn't have library. Queen's College was much better endowed than us. And yet, we produced some of the top scholars, professionals, workers in bilateral and multilateral agencies in the world. And I have to ask myself, I have to say, how did we do that? You know, normally we're told that when you start the university, you have to have a campus, and you have to have a library, and you have to have a whole bunch of things, and nice buildings, and car parks, and blah, 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 blah. Otherwise, you cannot. You cannot have a university. That's not how we started. And I think we were sort of dedicated to Guyana. It was a dedication that we had, even though, for the most part, close to 70% of our graduates leave and go overseas like me. And so I asked myself, oh, what happened when I was there? And what happened was that there were a number of lecturers who had a different understanding and a different approach to education, to teaching pedagogy, and to universities. Now, I'd like to sort of name them because some of them I have not acknowledged, but they were particularly critical and important in my career. Professor Harold Drayton, who was at BBC at the time. Professor Kathleen Drayton, who was head of the School of Education. Professor C.Y. Thomas, whom you all know. Dr. Joshua Amsani, who is very, very critical. Dr. Omowali, whom I hope you know. Professor Compton Bourne, Professor Neville Trotz, and I could go on and on and on and on. And I'm going to stop there because I want to stop there and I want to move to something else. Because I learned something there. Okay, so I've been told that the average span of attention of an audience is 12 to 15 minutes. So after 12 to 15 minutes, I tend to stop and tell people to do whatever they want. Look at your neighbor, look at your, jump up and down, do whatever you want once it's within the framework, and then I go on because I know after that you're not listening to me. Which is something I think that is very, very important if you're talking about excellence in teaching and learning. Your students will listen to you after 12 years. So you have to give them something to do. Have them send a note to their friend. So, now what I'm also going to do is to be very, very informal because informality is also very much part of excellence. Informality is very much part of excellence. And I'm also going to be not using the standard approach to these talks, but I'm going to be using what we call a bottom-up approach. Meaning that I'm going to give you a particular history of a reality that, that I experienced at the University of California, Berkeley, where I'm still at. And I would hope out of that we would come to some conclusion, some sense of what it takes to be excellent in teaching and learning. And it's not what you think. It's what people call, the approach is what we call thick description, and I'm starting with the reality of a history of a number of people who managed to produce a lot of things. So here I go. There was a student at the University of California, Berkeley, called Marlon Bailey. And Marlon Bailey came to the University of California, Berkeley, to do theater performance of African Americans. This is what he came to do. And he came there because there was a famous professor called Margaret Wilkerson, who was one of the top scholars in the world on African American theater. And the focus of her scholarship were a number of top theater persons in the United States. Lauren Hansberry, who wrote A Raisin in the Sun, she was one of the persons who focused on. But unfortunately, when Marlon came to the University of California, Margaret Wilkerson had to leave. She got a job as a vice president of Ford Foundation. So Marlon was caught without an advisor. And he had to make a decision. He had to decide whether he's going to leave Berkeley and spend another 2 years getting into another institution, or he's going to work with what Berkeley had. So he decided that what he's going to do is to interview some professors. You see where I'm getting with this? You're going to soon see. He's going to interview professors. So he came and he interviewed this professor. So he came into the office and he said, "Professor, I am in a dilemma. I don't have anybody to work with. And I need people on my committee, and I need a chair of my committee. So and I heard that you do work on diaspora." So the professor said, yes, I do work on diaspora. And he said, well, tell me about this diaspora thing. I know a little bit about it. So he said, this is about diaspora. Diaspora is about something called articulation. He says, diaspora are the ways that people use to connect with persons who are dispossessed, who are abject. Persons who are put out of society because they are considered to be not worthy. And he says that there are things they do, to sort of allow them to recognize themselves on the one hand, and to allow them to make connections. So then he said, yeah, I think, you can work with me. So the professor said, why? He said, because, I am actually doing diaspora stuff. He says, first of all, I'm focusing on African Americans, and then secondly, I'm actually focusing on gay African American men, and they're two abject populations. So I think that, this is a good thing. I want you to remember that because it became important later on. And then, then he says, the professor said, I really don't do performance stuff. And he says, well, what's your area? And he says, my area is sociology. And he says, is there anything in sociology about performance? And he said, yes, there's ethno methodology, and there's dramaturgy, and so on. And that is about performance. And he said, well, tell me about it. And the professor told him about it. And he said, this is a really great thing. Because in theater studies, all we do is what's on stage. But what we really need to do is to look at the impact and the realities of the audience and the ways people behave and so on. So I think that you are going to be a good person for my committee. So now the professor, he's saying, and he's also chair of the department and things like that. So So the professor said, well, you know, I don't know. He doesn't want to work with this guy, you know, because this professor is doing big things, as we think about it. You know, he's doing development and globalization and Africa, Asia, Latin America, the Caribbean, and political economy and all these other things. This is what the professor's doing. Right? So he doesn't want to work with any guy who's doing game and dancing. He doesn't want to. So he said, it's not my thing. So the guy said, he says, well, you know, I don't do gay and lesbian stuff. He said, I don't do that. So Marlon said, okay, well, you just have to learn. He said, you just have to learn about that because you're my only motivator. And the professor said, but how are we going to do this? He says, okay, this is what we're going to do. He says, you know, what I'm going to do is we're going to spend a year. When you're doing a PhD, you have to do what's called qualifying exams. So you work with your committee. And in your committee, you have, I hope you're listening to this because I'm hoping to recruit many of you to do PhDs in the United States of America, so you're going to know what it takes. You know, we're trying to get you upgraded. So some of you, many of you probably have PhDs. A lot of you look like high school students to me, but I get surprised. So you're going to know what it takes, right? So it takes, you work with, you work with the members of your committee, and you do independent studies in preparation for your qualifying exams. So Marlon sat and he said, this is how we're going to work for this year. He says, you know, you're going to prepare readings on diaspora, and you're going to prepare readings on ethno-methodology. And I'm going to prepare readings on gay and lesbian studies. I'm going to do that. And he says, you know, for the next year, he said, the first week, you know, what I'm going to do is, you know, we're going to have a list of readings, and I'll write something, and we'll talk about it in the first week, you know, in the sequence. It says, the second week, what we're going to do is, you're going to do ethno-methodology stuff, you're going to prepare readings for the second week, I'm going to write something about this is how these things go, and we'll have a discussion about it. So for the third week, I'm going to prepare readings on gay and lesbian studies, which is now queer studies. You're going to write the paper, and I'll discuss it with you. And the professor says, okay. So 12 minutes, around, think about it, stretch. Now here is this thing about excellence in learning. We think, and Professor Meyer is much more of an expert at this than me. We think as professors, lecturers, teachers, we think that our job is to take the knowledge out of our head and put it in the student's head, and that student has to sit down, say nothing, because the teacher is the freaking expert and the student knows nothing. Now let me tell you the problem with that. If that is the case, knowledge is not developed. The teacher puts it into the student, and the same thing that the student has, that student is going to put it into the next student. So let us assume that this knowledge is about the wheel. See, the teacher says, okay, the only thing that I'm going to teach you about is the wheel. You don't know anything about it. And then that student gets in the head wheel, and that student teaches the wheel. And we can't develop cars because everybody's talking about wheels. The way, and this is, there's personal power theory. And he calls this the banking method. Nothing gets produced out of that. But there is a different way to be excellent in teaching and learning. And that way is to understand that that student has a lot to offer the teacher. And that if the teacher understands that the student could teach the teacher, and the teacher could teach the student, and when they put their knowledges together, they produce new things. They have new knowledges, new horizons of possibilities. With the wheel, they could build a car. Because the student might know mechanics, or the student might know aerodynamics, or the student might know engineering, some stuff in engineering. And if you bring them together, you're able to produce a car as opposed to having the wheel being produced over and over and over. And that's one problem posed in math. And it demands one thing, it demands that you have to have respect for the teacher. The teacher has to have respect for the student. The teacher has to understand that the student is a human being with knowledges that the teacher doesn't have. And that student is an equal partner in this dialogue of teaching and learning. An equal partner. Equal partner. And once you realize that, you're going to be an excellent teacher, and the student will be an excellent learner. But we have to respect the knowledges that our students have. And we have to stop believing, we have to stop inculcating ourselves what I might call the Jesus complex. Here you come to save the student. Jesus already did it. You can't do that. So if there's one thing that you need to take from this lecture, it's that your student knows more than you about a bunch of things. And if you think that you are an expert, in my discipline we call it the rule of expert. If you think you are the expert, you're not getting anywhere, the student is going to be pissed off with you, they don't want to hear you. You know, I think it's a burden. You don't want to hear the student because the student doesn't want, the student has nothing to contribute to you, and you have a situation of absolute mutual disrespect. And you cannot learn under conditions of mutual disrespect. I've always accepted the fact that my students know more than me. Okay, so let's get on this journey. What happened? I'm going to tell you the benefits. We get back to the story. The benefits. So, Marlon moves on to his qualifying exams, and he's doing his PhD. He's doing research for his PhD. He begins to give lectures at, performance studies conferences, and he begins to bring in the things that we learned, that he and his professor learned together. He begins to bring these things in to these lectures. And it began to develop a new phase in performance studies. So the performance studies first, he says, we really like to bring the professor here. So the professor was invited to Aberystwyth at the Performance Studies Conference, and the professor began to talk about this synergy. And then the professor was invited to be on the board of the Cultural Studies Association, which is the association that oversees performance studies. And then subsequently, the professor was able to have a big conference at the University of California, Berkeley, that transformed the entire field of performance studies, the entire field of theater, the entire field of dance, the entire field of ethnomusicology, the entire field of all of these other things. Because what was happening is that they discovered that there was much more going on in performance than what happened on stage. And it transformed that field of study. It brought very many things. It brought sociology, it brought economics, it brought philosophy, it brought all of these other things into it. It also began to transform the social sciences. Because the social sciences said, these guys who are part and parcel of this performance studies they have a lot to teach the way that we do sociology, etc. A lot. So transform the number of disciplines in a phenomenal way. And so if you're a teacher, and you think that your job is just to translate what you know into other people's heads, then you're not doing a good job. And you also have to think about the way that you communicate, engage with, participate with your students. Well, you have to participate with them as if they're equal. You have to do that. Okay. Now why am I telling you this? Because at University of Guyana, that's the way we did it. When I was a student, that's the way we did it. And that's why we produce such exceptional scholars who went on to do great things in this world. And I think that if many of you are beginning to think about higher education, about moving on to PhDs and so on, that's the way that, if you're doing professional degrees or PhDs and so on, that's the way it operates, that's the way it operates. I've heard that there are a lot of lecturers here who don't turn in their grades, students' grades. Why that? That is a phenomenal issue. If you don't turn in your students' grades when the student, as soon as the student, that is crazy. It's outside of my conceptual imagination that you cannot turn your grades in. That student has done something, and in a week or whatever, that student has done something. I had the students are waiting for a year. I mean, that's not excellence in teaching. That's not excellence in learning. That is crap. It's crap. At my university, they said you have to turn in your grades by 12 o'clock, 1 week after the final exam. And if you miss that, you are in deep, 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 deep trouble. That's why I was right there, ask her. Because it shows that you don't respect your students, and you don't think the students have anything to teach you. It shows that. So, if we are beginning to think about excellence in teaching, we have to rethink our role. We have to understand that we are not the font of knowledge. We are not. And we have to understand that this process is a process where we are engaged with our, this is not ABC class. This is university. These students in these universities have gone through a phenomenal period of preparation to enter into the university, and we should begin to think about the fact that they have something to contribute to us as lecturers. So, the professor I'm talking about is me. I was the professor. And the reason why it was not discordant to me is that when I was a student at the University of Guyana, that is how we rolled. I would hang out with Clive Thomas, I would hang out with Alan Drake. We didn't have arguments, we didn't have discussions, hang out with something more in an equitable way, and they learn, and I learn. And that is how it happened, and that is why we go together and do it. Now we are here to assist in that process, not to assist, but to learn from you and to learn of your difficulties and to help. and to move you along in this process. And I'm going to guarantee any person who's thinking about increasing their skills, their qualifications, and so on, if they come with that attitude, I'm going to do my best to make sure that their wishes for further expansion in their knowledge will be satisfied. So I have to say, again, thank you as lecturers here for producing me. You are the most important people in Guyana. The politicians are not, the medical doctors are not. All those people will not be there if it weren't for you. I think you have to take your role seriously as the most important people in Guyana. The most, because without you, Guyana will be thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hinson. Professor Hinson confronted a couple of things, some of the things you don't like to hear, but we need to speak to them. Because some of us, and I'm saying us, because I too teach, and some of us have been delinquent. But this is a new opportunity. This is the dawn of a new era. So this is an opportunity for better, for us to encourage our colleagues to do better, for us to encourage ourselves to do better. And what is also good here is that we have some students here with us. Is Becky here? Hi Becky. And the UGSS, could you stand? Thank you. Becky and the team of students are here. Could we have all the students stand, please? Wonderful. Thank you very much. What is good about having our students present is that we are having this conversation with our students being ambassadors and going out to share what they learned today and what is expected from all of us. And they're going to be holding us accountable because as VC said, as Professor said, our students are the main ingredient of this entire process. And I know that we all understand that, but sometimes things go not so good. But on an upbeat note, Professor Hinson also shared with us that there are going to be opportunities for those of us who want to move on and who need to move on, because if we stay in the academy, we have to grow. We have to have additional learnings. We have to have new knowledge. And this collaboration with FIU that we're going to hear more about at lunchtime is a platform, a springboard for us here and for other colleagues who were not fortunate to make it on today's list, but we're going to have several other lists and engagements coming up. Good? But I want to thank Professor Hinson for the keynote, for making it real and keeping it real, and for engaging us in a way that makes us look at self and what we need to do differently. And if you're doing a good job, just give yourself that nice little pat on the shoulder. If you turn it in grades on time, continue to keep patting yourself on the shoulder. If you're not turning in, just go up and sit on that table. And somebody encourage you to come up, because things happen, situations happen, right? But we have to work in the best interest of our students and of our university and the community, the larger country that is looking to us as leaders. So thank you, Professor Hinson.